Alright, welcome back. So before we even get into update 50, I had to start the video here because this right here, this is one of the brand new Crown Store homes coming with the update, and honestly, it sets the tone perfectly. Everything about this patch feels like a reset. From new systems, class identity coming back, reworks across the board, and yeah, even the vibes feel different. So let's get into all the changes. Right away, you can see it. Completely updated animations, movement feels smoother, attacks feel heavier, and overall it just looks way more modern compared to what we've had for years. Even the transformation itself feels more impactful now. And yeah, finally, female werewolf models. This alone already makes the form feel less outdated, and to top it all off, there are multiple different skill styles to choose from when it comes to werewolf ultimates. That is pretty cool. But the real changes go deeper than visuals. Abilities have been adjusted, some replaced entirely. You'll notice Bite stepping in where Piercing Howl used to be, and overall the kit feels more aggressive and fluid. On top of that, they've reduced ultimate cost, which means more uptime, and that alone is massive. And then passives. This is where things get interesting. Werewolf is now leaning way harder into hybrid scaling, so whether you're mag or stam, you're not getting punished nearly as much anymore. Sustain feels better, damage feels more consistent, it's not just a gimmick form anymore, it actually feels viable again. Right here we're going to go through every single passive so you can get a first look into how everything is going to work, what their abilities are going to do. As you can see, they got a ton of damage and sustainability in their kit. It's going to be very OP whenever it comes out. Don't be surprised if you see a pack of werewolves come maul you down. This is probably one of the biggest changes on PTS so far. I've noticed a ton of werewolves are super tanky. They're extremely hard to kill, and they hit like a truck. There's one channel ability, which we'll get to here in just a second. You'll see for yourself. But it's basically a however many second channel, but it hits for like 60k, and that's with no gear on. So imagine what that tooltip will be. Yeah, exactly, when you actually have gear on. So yeah, werewolf is going to be broken. For all you werewolf RPers out there, you will be more than satisfied with what the rework is bringing. And yeah, this is it right here. Claw Fury is the morph. Overall, I'm pretty satisfied with this. I like to play werewolf from time to time, and it'll be fun to have a little werewolf pack running around Cyrodiil. So yeah, you werewolf RPers, you'll enjoy this one for sure. Passives give you a ton of damage, ton of sustainability. Definitely, like I said, a lot in its kit. Very tanky, very survivable, very OP. In addition to the werewolf changes, werewolf will also be getting a brand new food. You can check it out here. But now we get into the main system of update 50, class mastery, and this is what will change everything. So we're going to start with Sorcerer. This is easily one of the most explosive masteries in the update. The entire theme here is execute pressure and shock damage scaling. You're getting effects that increase your damage to lower your enemy's health gets, and on top of that, you have additional shock procs layered in. So what does that mean? It means Sorc is back to doing what it does best, bursting people down out of nowhere. Another passive that grants you a damage shield. It's like a 9k damage shield. Every 0.5 seconds, anytime you cast an ability with a cast time or a dark magic ability. That is going to be incredibly OP. It stacks really well with Hardened Ward. You'll see it in the next few clips. Also, another one increases your damage by like 1200 based on how much weapon spell damage, or not weapon spell damage, but max mag you have. That is also OP. I believe there has a multiplier on it as well. So basically, to boil it down, max Mag Sorcs, you're back in the business, alright? You're back in the game. Mag Sorc told DK to hold my beer. It's going to be OP. So as you can see, shield stacking is incredibly OP on Sorc, on PTS. This guy actually had lower health than me. He had like 22k health, but he had tons of shields. Just wasn't enough. This guy here was on like some melee 2H Sorc. I decided to make sure I was evasive, but I eventually got him, as you can see there. Next up, Templar. This mastery revolves around Sacred Ground. Basically, when you're standing in your own effects, you're getting buffed across the board. More healing, better survivability, and even damage increases tied to your core passives. This pushes Templar into a very controlled playstyle. You hold your ground, and you become extremely hard to deal with. It's less about chasing and more about forcing people to fight you on your own terms. As you can see here, Sacred Ground grants you a ton of different buffs. Burning Light is buffed. It's halved against players. What else? Sacred Ground also gives you a damage shield, or it gives you more healing. Just overall, super strong. Players on PTS are low-key hitting like absolute trucks. I've been enjoying seeing them pack people up. I've lost to a Plar last night. Just overall, Plar is getting buffed. I would imagine with the Sacred Ground passive that Range Plar will see a comeback, which I'm actually excited for because I love range. Alright, and Nightblade. And this one might be one of the scariest ones here. The mastery ties heavily into crit and ultimate generation, and what that means is you're generating ult constantly. We're talking about near non-stop access to your strongest abilities. More incaps, more pressure, more kill windows. In the hands of a good player, this is going to be deadly. Also, one of its passive grants you a fuck ton of weapon and spell damage based on their missing health, which is essentially execute scaling in one passive. A very big execute scaling. It's going to be broken. This one right here, increase your critical damage and healing by 15%. That's massive damage. Okay? So, overall, Nightblade is going to be cracked. Activating a Nightblade ability while bracing causes you to dodge attacks for 3 seconds. For 0.3 seconds. That's alright. I haven't tested this one yet, but the execute scaling is going to be broken. Also, the ultimate is going to be broken. Let's be real. Nightblade was already pretty cracked. I can imagine that once the reworks are done, it's going to be even more OP. Dragonknight? Well, it's in a different spot. It's already one of the most complete classes in the game, and its mastery just reinforces that. More sustain, stronger dots, better overall pressure, nothing too flashy, but extremely solid. DK isn't trying to reinvent itself here, it's just getting even harder to kill. One of its passive is basically a dot that always will be on somebody because when one damage over time effect ends, it applies. So basically you'll have 100% uptime on dots no matter what. DK is already pretty OP, but with the whip nerf, kind of glad that they've reintroduced something to shake things up a bit with its passives. Resolute defense, blocking, OP. And yeah, every second you're in bracing, you increase up to 5 times, so you can get a lot of mitigation there. Now let's get into Arcanist. This one's interesting because it's been off and on for a very long time. It's been very off for the past year or so. So instead of just buffing it, this feels more like a shift. The mastery opens up different ways to play, less reliance on just spamming beam, more flexibility overall. It's still strong, but it's not as one-dimensional. Okay, it has a lot of good buffs in it, but it's not game-breaking. It's definitely not the same buffs as Nightblade or Sorc. Unfortunate, but true. It'll still have good versatility and utility in Cyrodiil, or in PvP in general. PvE, I'd imagine that it's still going to be meta, so... but we'll see. Now, Warden. Warden is kind of in a transitional phase. And basically, Stam Wardens are dead. Alright? There's really no point in running Stam Warden now. Everything's going to be pretty much centered around Frost. It's next in line for a full rework, so this mastery feels more like a temporary boost. You're getting improvements, but the real changes are still coming. So this is definitely one to still keep an eye on. You get a ton of weapon spell damage. Status effects are getting buffed with Warden. So I wouldn't be surprised if I see a Serpent Sustain Warden running around Cyrodiil. It's just every 2 seconds, you know, like you get Major Brittle. That's pretty OP, and if you're using Serpent Sustain, it stays on them longer, so you could have even higher uptime on Brittle. Yeah, guys, this is not finished yet. They're still doing the reworks. Warden's up next, so we'll see. But you can see reduce your damage taken for every status effect. That's a sustained passive. And yeah, major heroism for 4.5 seconds and an additional 250 magic and stamina recovery. Not bad, not great. We'll see what happens with the rework. And finally, Necromancer. This is all about smoothing out the class, better corpse interaction, less clunkiness, and more consistent flow in combat. If you've played Necro, you already know that's exactly what it needed. However, I'll give you my take on it. Necro is still going to be absolute garbage. Okay? It hasn't been good for a very long time, and until it gets its rework, unfortunately, I don't think that these passives are really going to keep up. It'll still struggle, especially against the Nightblade, Sorc, DK, Warden, even Arcanist. It's going to be really hard to compete on Necro, even with the class passives and the class mastery. I don't think it's going to be enough. That being said, Necro lovers, I'm sure you'll find a way to make it work. Me personally, I won't be touching the class until the rework comes. It's unfortunate, but I'm not going to nerf myself to the ground playing a dead class. I mean, it's pretty garbage. Alright, introducing a new system. The Elder Scrolls Online is doing what's called a veterancy system. Now at first I thought that this was something cool, like regarding Cyrodiil, Greyhost, etc. When I found out it was Vengeance when I logged on PTS, I was extremely disappointed. This is not anything that anybody wants as far as Vengeance. Nobody wants to play that dog shit campaign. It's absolute shit. It's very lazy work. Very boring combat. Just, it makes me cringe when I hear the word Vengeance. It is absolutely dog shit. And the fact that the devs are still pushing this and making new systems for it scares the absolute crap out of me, as this is something that most PvP players do not want. The only people that have advocated for it are PvEers and casuals who do not want to take the time to learn the game, understand mechanics, and get better. A lot of people will make the excuse of, oh, I work full time. I work full time. I also make YouTube. I do a bunch of shit. I even make music. But you know what? I got better at ESO. Because in my honest opinion, if you want to play a game and you're that dedicated to a game, you need to learn how to play it. And you need to be good at it. Maybe not the best, but at least try. This just feels really sloppy on their end. So yeah, update 50 is massive. Class identity is coming back, builds are changing, and the meta is about to shift hard. Let me know what you think is going to be the strongest class, because right now, Sorc is looking kind of crazy. I'll catch you in the next one, and if you like this video, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. Peace.